It's a creeper world.
Here comes Vanilla Minecraft Season 2. Welcome Minecraft fans, it's Collins. We got some more Vanilla Minecraft. We got a bunch of iron armor that we used the skeleton farm for. And then we got some strength potions and some golden apples and infinity bow, so we only got a little bit of arrows, iron sword, some blocks. We're gonna do the Enderdragon, and this will probably take a while, so maybe we'll do some sped up footage and some voiceover. We'll figure it out, but here we go. Worst case scenario. No! And by worst case scenario, we have a platform in the middle of nowhere where the Enderdragon can, of course, push us off into the abyss. And yeah, the whole thing's gonna be like this. So, we got some time to talk about some stuff. I was going to talk about bias. Bias is when you hear some information from someone and they have a preformed opinion on that matter. Let's start out with my bias. I have a world view based on the things that I've experienced in life. I have a view on how I play Minecraft based on the way I've played it in the past. And the way the Enderdragon keeps pushing me off a thing if my platform is not above the main part of the Ender. So we'll just bring a bunch of blocks and go and build stuff naked. But that's my bias. And I also have a bias about political issues and a bunch of other stuff that I talk about. So you guys need to understand that when you hear my opinions, they're going to be based on my biases. And the same thing happens with everything that you get information from. So there's bias in the media, there's bias in your schools, there's bias from your parents, there's bias from your teachers, there's bias from that Enderman who killed me because he thought I looked at him and I swear I didn't. Bias comes from everywhere. And if you think about bias, a lot of people have a negative opinion about something, a negative bias about what helps me. And by me, I mean them. So, hey cat, for instance, one of the things that helps me, or has held me back that causes my bias, is I have a bias against raising minimum wage. And the reason why I have that bias is because when I was a youth, I had a job as a teenager. Back in my day, because I'm an old person or something, we had jobs back in the day, and Enderdragons didn't kill us every 5 seconds. And I worked hard at my job, and I got raises. And then the government turned around and said, screw you for working hard, we're gonna also give raises to everybody else who didn't work as hard as you by raising minimum wage. At least that's the way I thought of it, and maybe you don't think of it that way, but yeah. So Enderdragon, we're blowing up a bunch of these things with a bow. And those little things on the tower, in case you've never killed an Enderdragon before in Minecraft, regenerate the Enderdragon's health. So we gotta take a few of those out at least. And they only take one hit with anything. Just one simple hit and they blow up. But we gotta take some of those out before we kill the Enderdragon, otherwise the health will regen faster than we can drain it. So my bias about minimum wage has a lot to do with the fact that I didn't feel like it did any good for me to work hard if the government was going to give everybody else a raise after I got one based on merit. Everybody else was going to get one for free, and somehow they think that that's going to boost the economy. But to me, like, my high school economics intelligence tells me that the cost of everything is just going to go up more than what you get for minimum wage. So really what you're doing is punishing everybody who makes more than minimum wage. But apparently there's only a select few people who can figure out the economics of it and think of it that way. And that Enderdragon, he is so mean. But But yeah, so that's my bias about minimum wage, and I have biases about a lot of other things, and they're based on my life's experiences. And the takeaway, and I have a bias against the Enderdragon too because of stuff like that. But the takeaway from this is basically that you need to understand that everybody, including you, everybody basically who gives you information has a bias. Fox News talks about fair and balanced. They're not fair and balanced. They're just biased in the opposite direction the way everybody else is. They're still biased though. There's bias in everything. So, and I talked about this a little bit before, in the media, there are certain types of people who go into the media. And for lack of a better word, they're left-leaning liberals. And so you need to understand that when you watch the news, the mainstream media, you're getting left-leaning liberal news bias. And when I talk about bias, you need to understand the words that are used. So emotional words will be used when you get news stories. You'll get opinions that come from the person who's reporting the news. And it doesn't matter whether you agree with those opinions or disagree with those opinions. If they're opinions, it's bias. And you just need to understand that. You can agree with them, you can disagree with them, but you need to understand that there is bias in the media. There's bias in your schools. It comes from the school programs and the school teachers, who are all in unions, who all have government-protected jobs, who get tenure and they get seniority based on being there long enough, not whether or not they teach you anything useful. And yeah, I'm slamming schools. That's my opinion. That's my bias. Pay attention to your teachers. They have bias too. And as a young child, you want to take your teachers seriously. You think of them as an authority figure. Somebody you can look up to. But they have an opinion too. So when you're getting information from your teachers, know that they have an opinion. You can agree with them, you can disagree with them, but know that there's bias in their opinions, and think about that. And the same thing with your parents. And I'm not telling you to disagree with your parents. I'm telling you to realize your parents have a bias in a certain situation. And even to think about how your parents form their biases. And maybe there's some validity in their biases, and you should agree with those. Maybe you don't agree with those, and you find fault in why they have their biases. But just like everybody else, they have a bias. And it's just one of those things that you need to think about. There's bias in every person. Most people don't give us a story with just facts anymore. Everybody has a biased opinion. Like, I'm going to tell you how this stupid dragon paths like a maniac. That's because I have a bias against the way the Enderdragon paths in Minecraft. It just flits around nowhere and you can't shoot anything with it. And then it goes off and goes so far away that you have to run towards it to reload that chunk to get it to fly back. And, yeah. But I have a bias against the Enderdragon. But that's bias. And that's what it is. And I just want everybody to know. There's bias in the world. There's bias in the media, in the schools, from your parents, from your friends and your coworkers and your fellow students or whatever you see. Everybody has their own opinion, their own bias. Bias sounds like a negative thing, but it's really not. I mean, you have a bias when you tell your friends about something that you believe in, and especially if they don't agree with you, you have a bias. You have a biased opinion about something that they disagree with. And I think the main takeaway from this is really to understand that pretty much everybody has a bias. And to just don't be sheeple, man. That's really what I want to say. Don't be sheeple. Don't follow the herd. It's not pack mentality. We're not the Borg. We're rugged individuals, and we need to think about and form our own opinions and get our own information. And what are we doing with this stupid dragon? I thought this was going to take longer to talk about, but what did we do with this dragon? Okay, so first of all, the bad news was the platform that we spawned in on was not in the main island of the end, so we had to we had to place blocks to actually get to the main island, and we fell a couple times before we could even pull that off. Ended up putting a bed and a chest in the end portal room in the stronghold, and going in a couple times with no armor and blocks. And this crappy bow that I'm using right now, or one of the crappy bows, because I died a bunch of times, and I got apples, but actually I have apples because, oh, I don't have any gas tiers, that's why. Gas tiers for regen potions, so the only closest thing I got to regen potions is golden apples. So we're doing gapples because we don't have any gas tiers. And of course I made my nether hub, and it's all on the roof of the nether, and it's not big enough for gas to spawn in there, so yeah, there's no gas that I get to on a normal basis. Zombie pigmen come through my portal. I got some skeletons and a bunch of blazes that I've killed. Nether skeletons and blazes and stuff, and even some magmas. And I got slime balls, and I got zombie flesh and bones and arrows, and I got everything except gas tiers. Yeah. But anyway, we got gapples, we got strength pots, and we're killing this dragon. It takes forever. The last one I did, it took way longer than this, and I don't know how this one's much shorter, and I don't understand why. Is it? I thought the strength potions didn't work when you had like for your bow, but maybe they do, because this guy, well, I don't know, it's a big hit. There's so much lag in the health bar when you shoot at these damn things, I can never tell. Oh no, that was a big chunk out of him, so maybe the bow does. Well, it is a power 5 bow. I took so many bows in here, I don't know. One of them's a power 5 flame bow. Power 5 flame infinity and breaking. I don't know. We got dual skeleton grinders now, so we got bows of all types and sizes and shapes and blah blah blah. But yeah, media bias. Everybody has an opinion from somebody. Media's, schools, they're all left-leaning. So if you lean to the left, is it because you're being a sheeple and following everybody, or is it because you're thinking about yourself? And no, Fox News is not any better, because they're right-wing, and it's the same stuff. But please tell me you don't listen. I hope nobody watches my videos listens to NPR. National Public Radio. The public broadcast system, there you go. Government-funded left-leaning bias. That's so much better than... No, it's not better than anything. It's government-funded left-leaning bias. Bias in political campaigns. Now, let me be honest with you. My bias is towards Trump. Trump, to me, represents anti-establishment. Everybody else is on the giant corporate dole. And yes, I'm a capitalist, but big corporations are corruption, and I'm not for that. So, Hillary is owned by big banks. Bernie, yeah, he gets private donations. I think it's big pharma and the teachers' unions and everything else that he's into. Jeb Bush. Yeah, Jeb. We want President Jeb. He's big oil. Cruz and Rubio, I have no idea who's in their pockets. But Trump, he's not taking anybody's money. He's self-funded. And everybody laughs at him for like saying these horrible things, but he's not. People are misinterpreting it, and he gets the last laugh in. He doesn't hate Mexicans. He hates people who broke the law coming into our country. And all he has to do is say something that, quite frankly, liberals will take the wrong way, and he gets free media He gets free media attention from it. He doesn't have to pay for commercials. He gets it for free. That's how come he can self-fund his campaign. Not because he's running an expensive campaign. Because he just says one thing that somebody's going to take out of context. And he gets free media attention for it. That's how Trump does it. The only other person that is not... And he's not a lifelong politician. I wish I could find the link. There was a link that I found with the website that listed all the people running for president on all sides of the parties, and it listed their qualifications, and it ranked them higher for the more government scores they had. And I was just thinking, no. Higher is not better in this scenario. Lower is better. We don't want more government, because it doesn't matter if it's left wing or right wing or whatever. They're all kowtowing to whoever paid the most money, who had the biggest super PACs. That's not what we need. We need someone who's not going to do that. We need someone who's not in the... It doesn't have Goldman Sachs in their back pocket, or, you know, the dang DEQ's employee union in it. Oh, when we killed this thing. Oh, that's right. What did we do after this? Yeah, I didn't expect it to kill. Luckily, it's pretty close to the zoning portal, but I forgot about this. Yeah. So we're going to go and not get too much experience. Yeah, 54 levels. We're going to try not to get too much experience. We're going to go out and get some enchants, and then we're going to go in and... Oh, and if you wanted to see the animation that you get when you kill the Enderdragon, yeah, kill your own Enderdragon, because I'm skipping that when I cut video. But, oh yeah, so politicians and the money, they get their money from... So, that's one of the reasons why I like Trump. He doesn't get his money from super PACs. And super PACs are giant political action committees? It's basically an organization, like a giant banking cartel that says they needed bailouts and pocketed all the money and then made record profits. They become a super PAC. They take a bunch of money, send it to politicians on all sides, both sides of the political parties. Republicans and Democrats get super PAC money from the same super PACs. Trump even talks about it when he was a businessman. He gave money to Democrats and Republicans because it didn't matter. He could put both of them in his pockets. He could get his hands in both those people's pockets. And then when he wanted a favor, he could go to, whether it was a Democrat or a Republican, he was just hedging his bets. He spent money on both sides. Hey, you know what? My company's getting squeezed on this issue. Can you make it easier for me to have ties made in China or whatever you needed done? And it got done. And that's the way politics works now. And Trump knows it. He is an American, though, just like you and I. He wants America to be a cool, great country. And again, this is my bias. Take it at your word. But this is what I'm telling you. He knows what's wrong, and I think he really wants to fix it. And you wait and see, because there's another bias that you'll hear about. You'll hear a bias about Democrats and Republicans. Democrats have two Hispanic Americans, a Black American running for president right now. Or that's Republicans, I'm sorry. Republicans have that. Democrats have two old, rich, white people running for president. Which of those parties is for diversity, I wonder? Just think about that. Oh, but Donald Trump is supported by the KKK. Oh, hold on a second. Because the first video I saw of him being supported by the KKK was some guys in Klan uniforms in Nevada who obviously were black, but no one reported that. And it turns out that someone interviewed them. They were Black Lives Matters activists dressed as KKK. So I don't think they were really Klan members. I'm just guessing. And then that, what is this guy's name? David Duke or whatever? I don't know. Some like Klan guy or whatever. He supposedly endorsed Trump. So immediately after he said that, on some radio show of his or something, that's what I read, Trump denounced him on social media, and the dude denounced Trump on social media, and then the news kept telling us about how Trump was not denouncing him and how he endorsed Trump, even after they had both not done it. And apparently Trump didn't denounce him enough, whatever that means. Dude. And you wait. Let me tell you. If you really think Trump is a racist, wait till you see who he picks as his running mate. Because I'm going to tell you, I know already who's going to win the Republican nomination. I know Trump is not a true Republican because no true Scotsman, who cares? I don't care what his political views are. I don't care if he leans left, right. He is not owned by super PACs. He knows what America needs, and I'm going to vote for him, and that is my bias. You don't have to agree with me. But you wait. The 2016 Republican ticket will be Trump and Dr. Ben Carson. Pretty racist ticket there, if you ask me. Lots of racism in that. I'm sure David Duke will endorse Trump then. Yeah, no. What are we doing over here? Oh yeah, we're spending all of our levels. That's right, because of the new enchanting system. We get like 100 and some levels off the damn Enderdragon nowadays. And it only takes like 3 levels to do a level 30 enchant. So at level 30 when you do an enchant, it doesn't take you back down to level 0. It takes you down to like level 27. It only takes 3 levels off for the big enchant. So we're enchanting a bunch of stuff. Bows and well, bows. We're trying to get some flame bows because I don't seem to have any flame bows off the damn skeletons. And then we're trying to get some luck of the sea fishing rods. And then whatever else we can get off of books or something. I don't know. Projectile protection. So the one thing with the protection enchants, I'm jumping all over the place. Media bias, political campaigns, and Minecraft stuff. Enchants. So enchants on armor, at least the way in up to 1.8. I'm not sure yet if it's different at 1.9, but I think we'll find out. Enchants on armor, protection 8. Pretty much anything after that is not going to help you anymore. So protection 4, IV is Roman for 4. It's 5 minus 1, because the 1's on the left instead of the right. That's the I to the left of the V. Roman numerals. Hopefully you guys understand that. IV is 4. 2 pieces of armor with protection 4 is protection 8. Anything after that is not really any good, so if you got 2 pieces of armor with protection 4 on them, you might as well take the other 2 and either combine them with something else, like 2 projectile protections, or 2 blast protections, or 2 fire protections, or maybe mix and match them, have a fire protection and a blast protection, or whatever you think you run into. So that's what the goal is with the cool armor, is we're going to have 2 protection 4s and then something with like maybe projectile protection and fire protection. Because that's the way it works in Minecraft now. And 1.9 is out for release. I don't know. I've been doing some job interviews. So if I get a new job, we are going to buy a better microphone than this thing, because I know there's a lot of static in this microphone. I got to apologize for that, guys. We're going to buy a better microphone, and we are going to be doing some more regular stuff. I think that may include, along with this LP in 1.8, we'll do a separate LP in 1.9, and then possibly a modded Minecraft LP, which would be also in 1.8. Maybe we will let this thing die, and then we'll do a modded 1.8 and a 1.9. Yeah, that's a possibility. Did we get any good enchants out of this? I don't know. Luck of the Sea, that's the one we wanted. Oh, Luck of the Sea and Lure. Both of them. Apparently Luck of the Sea without Lure is the best way to get name tags from fishing. Even though we can do it with emeralds nowadays, so maybe we'll do that instead. And yeah, I'm drinking morning coffee, and I did record this a few days ago, but whatever. Trying to think of what else to talk about. We saw the slime farm last episode, and I left the stuff in with me traveling through the nether here, so you can see the nether hub is all set up. We got these track stops. We got the intersection track stops here, and that left turn goes to skeleton farm, and then this goes down to either the branch mine, or before we get to the branch mine in Extreme Hills, it stops here, because this is the way to break tracks. No, this is the way to the stronghold with the end portal room, and that's where we're going to, the end portal. What do we got? Are we gonna show stuff in here? And portal room. Yeah, so there's the bed we made. The chest is up in the ceiling. I think we were just checking to make sure we have everything. Yeah. So we got this path now, and we don't have to worry about the Enderdragon destroying these blocks anymore. And then, luckily, this goes fairly straight up to, yeah, there's our portal thing. So now we're going to pick up the rest of the XP that we didn't get earlier. And what does that put us at? Level 38? So we were at like 58 and then 38. Yeah, it's not too bad. And then we're going to have to come up with a way to get from here to... Yeah, we're going to have to come up with a way to connect this to the zone in portal. They're pretty close though, luckily. I've had ones in some worlds where they're really far apart. And of course this is the bed we slept in. We had slept in the other bed over by the stronghold, but we slept back in this one to bring things back over here. And now it's just more enchants and more... There's a flame bow. That's what we need. Flame power. That's good. And we do need more infinity bows. We can combine those. Flame and infinity. None of these enchants are good. But protection, I guess. Whatever. I think we were just trying to dump some stuff. Thorns 2 is definitely good. And Luck of the Sea and Smite. What weird combinations for books. I guess it's kind of cool because it's like if you want it for a weapon or for armor or for a tool or yeah, whatever. The other thing too is there was a Silk Touch book, right? I think we need to find Silk Touch and Unbreaking for some shears. I think we need to do that too because you can put books on shears even though you can't enchant shears. A villager, I think, had an Unbreaking book. We'll have to look at that. Oh, and because we've killed the Enderdragon now, we can build a Enderman farm in the end. And I'm not sure if we're going to do an Endermite thing or an Enderbolt thing. We'll get the track thing out of the way and then figure it out after that. Because, yeah, the Enderman farms. I think we're about to run out of time on this thing, though. This is kind of, well, it's a couple minutes short of 30 minutes. So, yeah, just think about when you are hearing information on the news or from your teachers or from your parents or from anybody, that there's going to be a bias in some direction, whether it's left or right. And just think about that when you hear information from other people, that they're going to have a bias that you hear from. And just because it's a news source or an authority figure like a teacher, no. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Catch you guys next time. Later. Punch 3 wood. 3 wood makes a wooden pick. 3 stone makes a stone pick. We're in the Stone Age, baby.